What's going on, everyone? Kyle Yates here with the FantasyPros Football Podcast. Thanks for joining us. As always, you can find our brand new content every week at youtube.com/fantasypros, as well as on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow while you're there. Let's get right to it, because today I'm taking a look at my top 10 wide receivers you have to roster in 2021. Now listen, it would be really easy for me to do a video saying that each of the top 10 wide receivers in ECR were must-have players, right? Of course, I'd love to have a Stephon Diggs or Calvin Ridley on my roster, but that's not going to be much help to you, is it? You want to know who the players are outside of the first couple rounds in your drafts that you should be targeting when you're on the clock. Don't worry, stop panic sweating and put your feet up, I've got you. Let's take a look at 10 wide receivers in this video and work our way from the final rounds of ADP, which stands for average draft position, all the way to the top. Number 10, AMON-RA St. Brown, wide receiver, Detroit Lions. Let's start with someone that you might actually have to quote-unquote reach for in the final round of your draft. St. Brown is an extremely talented wideout that somehow fell to the 4th round of the 2021 NFL Draft. The Lions got an absolute steal, and there's a very strong chance that St. Brown actually leads this Lions team in targets by the end of the season. He's the slot player in a run-first offense, but the Lions might not actually be able to run the ball as much as they want to in 2021 with the state of their defense. If the Lions are constantly in catch-up mode, St. Brown could be peppered with targets underneath by Jared Goff, who prefers to keep things near the line of scrimmage. St. Brown is especially intriguing in full PPR formats. Number 9, JAYLEN WADDLE, wide receiver, Miami Dolphins. If you've spent any bit of time on our YouTube channel, you're tired of hearing me talk about Jaylen Waddle. He's an incredible talent whose skill set meshes with Tua Tagovailoa's perfectly. Additionally, if Will Fuller and Devontae Parker struggle with injury again this year, Waddle could be a target machine. At wide receiver 46 in ADP, he's an absolute steal. Number 8, Darnell Mooney, wide receiver, Chicago Bears. While we've seen Jaylen Waddle's ADP rise steadily over the past couple of weeks, Darnell Mooney's seems to be locked in place at wide receiver 53. This, my friends, is good news for us. Mooney burst onto the scene last year and consistently got open against tough coverage, only to be let down time and time again by poor quarterback play. With Andy Dalton, Mooney should be a key part of this offense in Chicago. However, once Justin Fields takes over, we could see Mooney become a top 24 wide receiver. There's no downside to Mooney at his current price, and the upside is through the roof. Number 7, Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver, Indianapolis Colts. Pittman has been one of my guys since I watched his USC tape in preparation of the 2020 NFL Draft. While he wasn't given a huge role in 2020, the sky is the limit for what he can do in 2021. He's been dominating at training camp regardless of who the quarterback is, and he could easily find his way into 100-plus targets this season. With his talent, plus that opportunity, you'd think he'd be going in the wide receiver 24 to 30 range, right? Nope, wide receiver 48 currently in ADP. Sign me up. Number 6, Corey Davis, wide receiver, New York Jets. I've been pounding the drum for Corey Davis all offseason, and it seems like people might now be starting to take notice after the Jets' first preseason game. While it is just a preseason game, Zach Wilson targeted Corey Davis on every single one of Davis's pass routes. Just like with Pittman, it's near impossible to find a wide receiver past the wide receiver 36 range that could see over 100 targets. Davis could easily eclipse that mark in 2021. As a wide receiver 4 for your roster, he's an excellent selection. Number 5, Antonio Brown, wide receiver, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As we started the offseason, I wasn't exactly on board with drafting AB for fantasy football this year. I thought the offense was too crowded and that Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were going to be the clear target leaders on this team. However, as we get closer and closer to the season, I'm starting to change my tune on AB. There's a very strong possibility that we see all 3 of these starting wide receivers end up with a very similar target share by the end of the season, and the disparity in value between them all is glaring right now. Brown is wide receiver 40 in our ADP consensus. That is what we call a value, folks. Number 4, T. Higgins, wide receiver, Cincinnati Bengals. While I do believe that the training camp panic button on Jamar Chase has been pressed a little bit prematurely, it's worth noting that it might take a little while for the rust to wear off for the rookie wideout that didn't play at all in 2020. What does that mean for someone like T. Higgins? He's going to come out of the gates on fire. There is more than enough volume in this offense for Higgins, Boyd, and Chase to all be viable fantasy options. With the talent Higgins has and his connection with Joe Burrow, he's a fantastic wide receiver 2 to have on your roster. Number 3, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver, Los Angeles Rams. People that follow my work have to be sick of hearing me talk about how great this Rams offense could be this season with Matthew Stafford at quarterback. Over the past 2 seasons, Jared Goff has limited this offense's capabilities, and Kupp has still been a fantastic fantasy option over that time frame. Now, with a top 10 NFL quarterback in town, we could see this offense go nuclear, and Kupp is one of the first in line to benefit from it. Don't be shocked if we see Kupp finish as a top 10 option this year, and he's being drafted as a low-end wide receiver 2 currently. Number 2, Robert Woods, wide receiver, Los Angeles Rams. Just like with Kupp, Woods could set career-high numbers this year with Stafford in town, paired with Sean McVay's play calling. It's Kupp and Woods that are set to dominate the target share in this offense, and they're going to bring incredible upside each and every week. Woods is wide receiver 17 in ADP consensus currently, and you know what? That's way too low. Number 1, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, Dallas Cowboys. We are absolutely on the verge of Lamb breaking out and becoming a fantasy football superstar. This offense is going to be racking up points all season long with Dak Prescott at quarterback, and Lamb has the talent to emerge as his number 1 target. You're going to have to pay up for Lamb at his wide receiver 12 price tag right now, but he is absolutely worth the investment. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Do you agree with this list of wide receivers, or are you avoiding any of them this year? Let us know in the comment section below. And while you're there, hit the like and subscribe buttons so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.